weird animals. Red. Job: cryptozoologist with freaky powers. Looks like a gothic raccoon. Talent: powers of telekinesis. She can move things with her mind. Most people might think that Donnie and Red are weird, but when you compare them to my family, Mum, Dad, Grace, Natty and Caliban, who are all ex-werewolves, to me, they're actually pretty normal. Me. Job: cryptozoologist in training. Looks like a frickly tree frog. Talent: CSC. Cross-species communication. I can speak the languages of strange animals. Weird, right? Another obvious sign that Mum was in more of a flap than a crow in a cage was that she let me have the day off school. So long as I promised to help out with all the panda preparation, I could bunk off double maths and French class. Did I need to be asked twice? Of course I stayed at the zoo. By 6 p.m. this evening, the zoo had closed to normal visitors and everyone was getting ready for the big arrival. TV crews and news reporters were stationed outside the zoo's main gate. Large crowds had gathered on the street outside, and there were even a couple of helicopters flying about overhead, all so they could get a picture of the pandas as they arrived. "Anyone would think the Queen was coming for tea," said Natty as we lined up by the gates. "Pandas are way more important than the Queen," I replied. "Do you think Mum will let me ride one?" Natty asked, wide-eyed and serious. "I'm pretending you didn't say that, Natty," I said. "Only joking." She stuck her tongue out at me and laughed. Honestly, my little sister equals half-human, half-demented monkey child. "Where are Donnie and Red?" Grace asked. "Backstage," I told her. Backstage is what we call the part of the zoo that's closed off to normal zoo visitors, and it's where Donnie and Red live. They're going to meet us in the Rare Animal Breeding Centre when we take the pandas there, once all the TV cameras have gone. I think they're more excited to see the pandas than they were to meet the Mongolian deathworm. Suddenly, the hum of noise outside the zoo gates grew louder and louder. People began shouting and cheering, and the flash of camera bulbs lit up the dark evening as the truck carrying our 2 new pandas pulled up. Thank goodness the truck was soundproofed and had blackout windows. One glimpse outside and the pandas would think they'd arrived at a circus, not a zoo. Dad pulled open the gates and greeted the waiting crowds with a huge grin. "This is it!" Natty squealed. "They're finally here!" As the truck pulled into the zoo, Dad waved his hands at the crowds, gesturing for them to be silent. "Thank you for coming today. It's amazing to know that we have the support of so many of you as we welcome Sue and Cheng to Feral Zoo. Once they are settled, we will be inviting members of the public to meet them and see for themselves what wonderful, beautiful creatures giant pandas truly are." Then Grace, Natty and I went to stand with Mum and Dad to smile for a few photos with the panda truck. Reporters shouted questions at Dad and camera bulbs flashed around us. "It's like we're famous!" Grace shrieked as the gates finally closed behind us, shutting out the crowds and TV cameras. "I want to go back and have more pictures taken." I rolled my eyes. "Grace, you are lamer than a limping llama. We need to get Sue and Cheng into their enclosure, not hang around posing for the cameras." Grace thumped me on the arm and gave me her best ex-werewolf snarl. The panda truck drove around to the Rare Animal Breeding Centre and made a beeping noise as it backed up towards the panda's enclosure. Sue and Cheng's new home is immense. It has a pond, a small jungle area, and a cave for them to sleep in. It's been designed to look and feel just like their natural habitat in China. "Sorry we missed the circus, kid," said Red, walking up to me. She was wearing her trademark black clothes, black makeup, and bright red hair. We could hear the crowd shouting all the way from backstage. "This is exciting," Donnie smiled at me. "Let me just make something very clear. Donnie never smiles. Not even when we found out the wish frog lived at Feral Zoo. He could ride a unicorn into a river of chocolate and he